One of the foundational pieces of David Allen's getting things done productivity method is the capture phase of productivity, which I spoke about briefly in last video. The idea is before being able to organize and strategically prioritize all of the stuff that's on our plate, we have to first have a system in place for capturing all of that inflow in a central place. Well, after doing so, we have to also decide what we're going to do with this inbox so that it doesn't become what David Allen calls storage for amorphous material. There are two ways that I myself have gone about designing this next processing step of the productivity process, one of which is the old way and one of which, of course, is the new. I want to show you in this video what the old way was, why I was running into a problem with it, what I switched to, and why it's working a lot better. Let's dive into Notion, take a look. All right, so method one. Let's take a look at this. I want to first show you from David Allen's Getting Things Done. This is directly from his book. Here is the workflow process that he advocates for, and it's world famous. The idea is, as you get new stuff into your world, you capture them in a centralized inbox. Or more commonly, you have multiple inboxes for the different kinds of things in your world. So for example, you could have physical inboxes, you can have digital inboxes, you can have inboxes for mail, inboxes for tasks, etc. And he has a whole thing for whether it's a note or a task or a project or whatever. But we're just going to keep it simple for the sake of simplicity in this video, and we're going to just take tasks. Okay, so as we get new tasks, we collect them in our inbox. We decide, okay, what is it? First of all, is it actionable? If it's not actionable, and it's not a note, it's just a task, we only have two options. We can either throw it away because it is no longer relevant to us anymore, or we can incubate it, which means we put it away out of our inbox but into some other box where we house the things that we could maybe do someday. Okay, so let's take these examples. I have this inbox here. I have this inbox, and this first task, I decide, I don't care about that anymore. I'm just gonna delete it from my view. I don't care about it. The next one, establish a will. Yeah, that's an important thing to do, but it's really not something I'm worried about right now. So I'm gonna move it over to my someday maybe file. Update my driver's license. That's, again, something I definitely want to do, but just not right now. It's not that important. Okay, those were my non-actionable task items. If it is actionable, which these two both are, the next thing we have to decide is, okay, can it be done in less than 2 minutes? That's sort of a rule of thumb. The real question is, can it be done right now? Or is it worth my attention, worth just getting it taken care of right now? If I'm reading Getting Things Done, let's say I'm almost done with it, or in whatever case, I'm working through it, I can go ahead and put it into my in progress section, and I maybe come and do whatever I need to do with my other tasks, and then I continue with this, and eventually I get it done. The only other option is to, if I can do it, but it's going to take me more than 2 minutes, he says that we need to put it into our calendar on a specific day and possibly a specific time. So I come into here, it is actionable. I don't want to do it right now, but I do want to put it onto my active plate. And so I'm going to give it a specific target date. Let's say that I want to have this done by next Saturday. And you see it disappears from this view, and I can come down here to my calendar, and you see it shows up next Saturday as it should. Okay, now here's the problem with this system. My inbox is clear now, but every time I get a new task, it's gonna reclutter my inbox. And I immediately have to process this in some way, and I have to make a decision as to what kind of thing it is if I want this inbox to be clean. Let's compare that then with method 2. When I get a new task in this productivity system, watch what happens. Okay, boom, I've captured the task, but you don't see it anywhere. Where did it go? Well, what I've done is instead of having my inbox inside my work area, which ideally I want to only be seeing those things that are taking my attention right now, or they should be. I want to be working on them, or at least have them on my radar right now. Instead, I put them by default into a task bank. So instead of a someday maybe file, what I've opted to do with this new method is essentially I have the someday maybe file, my inbox. It's acting as my inbox. And then I do my processing from here. So I take my throwaway Beanie Babies. I don't care about that anymore. I can go and get rid of that one. Buy a blender to make my first smoothie. That's worth putting on my calendar. I want to have that done by next Saturday. Read Getting Things Done. That's something I'm working on right now. So we can go ahead and change the status to in progress. Establish a will. That's important, but not enough to get in. It's not enough to be greenlit. That's what I'm calling this strategy. Shout out to Thomas Frank, where I learned this from. Greenlighting it would get it out of this view, but I don't want to do that with this one. Update driver's license, same thing. I want to get it done eventually, but it's not important enough for me to do that right now. And then inventing a new circular pizza box, we can go ahead and put that one. I don't know. I guess we can make that an in progress thing so that we have it on our radar and we know, hey, I'm thinking about this. I'm deciding whether or not I'm going to do it, researching what it's going to take, etc. Let me show you a little bit more advanced example with my actual video pipeline, YouTube video process and structure. Here is my work area. I call it my video pipeline. And in this area, I only see those videos or video ideas that have been greenlit. So I capture a new video idea, and I can do that from here in my actual desktop work area where I have my entire life organized and it's still a work in progress. It's a very, very, there's a lot to manage, a lot to organize, but Notion is an incredible tool. Anyway, I capture the ideas and they show up here in the idea bank by default. They do not take up my attention here where I want to be working. I want to only see those things that should be taking up my attention, the things that I know. Essentially, the difference between here, this inbox, and the work area is these videos I have decided to do. I intend on doing them. And then I can give them a target date. I don't necessarily have to do that in order for it to be in the planned phase. Part of the planning phase is to give it a target date and also to finalize the title for the most part. Once I begin working on the video, scripting it, doing research, deciding what the central message is, etc., then I can move it into here. So this should actually be in this box right here. I should also have the thumbnail done by this phase, so that is maybe why it wasn't there already. And then the production phase is the actual recording of the video, editing, uploading, optimizing, all the rest of the stuff before finally getting it posted or uploaded and scheduled to post. But all of that is only once I've decided to make a video. The default area, the default home for a new video idea, and this especially is because you can see there's tons and tons of ideas that I've collected. This isn't anything special. It just happens as you collect them over time and you have a dedicated home for them. You have all this house of tons and tons of ideas for making new videos, and from here then you don't have to worry about this getting cluttered up with tons and tons and tons of options, because that's what it's for. And then only once you're ready to greenlight a video, then you can come over here and put it into the appropriate next part of the process. If you're just getting started with Notion, or maybe you've been playing around with it for a little while, but there's something that you're struggling with, or maybe there's some kind of area of your life where you're pretty confident Notion could help, but you're just not quite sure how to get there, I'm offering free calls now. You can take a look in the description below. You'll find a link where you can sign up for a 30-minute call. We'll sit down. I'll sit down and video chat with you, and I'll ask you a little bit about your goals, what you're trying to achieve with Notion, maybe where you're at with respect to your overall journey, where you're at in your life, and how you think that Notion could best help you. And I'll either give you some pointers as to how to, what system to implement first, or maybe some tweaks to your existing system, or depending on the size of the project, I might even offer to design and build an entire Notion system for you based on your particular situation, just because I want to serve you. And really the reason I'm offering these free calls is because, again, it's completely free, no strings attached. I want to learn more about where you're at and how I can better serve you with this content that I create. So I hope to hear from you. I look forward to hearing from you. Otherwise, hasta la próxima, mis estudiantes. Nos vemos.